Everybody that does a mock draft or analyzes a draft says you're a lock to be a first-round pick. Why would you participate in something like this today?
You know, I have like my agent and people that are giving me advice, like Tim McDonald here and other people that, you know, that was what I was advised to do. You know, run routes. You know, I never even thought that I wouldn't run routes. I mean, that's just something I work on. That's what I do a lot. So I had no problem going out there and run around a little bit.
Tyler's nice coming to know that you have to worry about, you know, 40 times or anything like that.
Yeah, it was a relief. I mean, at the combine, I don't know how I looked on the outside, but I mean, I was nervous. You know, it's a stressful period, and you know, you got a lot on the line there. So you know, I was happy to have that over. I could just focus on more football specific drills, getting ready for pro day, which is what I've grown up doing instead of the, you know, all the sprinter, you know, getting ready for a track meet. For me, it's pretty much what everyone else says, just my strength, my blocking. Obviously, I work to improve on everything. Catching the ball, I've dropped passes before, so, you know, always working on my hands. You know, work on everything, but the one thing is my blocking, just getting bigger and stronger, putting on a little weight, and getting better at that.
Have you talked to any of the other tight ends about this process, like Rudolph or anybody, and what kind of advice have they given to you about your position?
Yeah, I talked to Rudolph, and you know, we don't talk a lot about football specific. We talk more about, you know, the transition to the NFL, what that's like. You know, you don't have a locker room full of college guys. You know, he says that he's lucky in Minnesota. It's a young locker room, but some places, you know, you get some older guys with wives and kids that are going home to their families, and you're going home to your apartment by yourself. That's just something that you gotta kind of be ready for. You know, just kind of the transition process, not as much football related.
And what are your thoughts just on the tight end position now? It's become, you know, premium now around the league. I'm sure you've kind of looked into that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thankful for the guys that have played before me. You know, the Gronkowskis, Jimmy Graham, Kyle Rudolphs, to kind of set that stage, because it's a good time to be a tight end, the kind of tight end that I am, and you know, so I'm just feel lucky to be coming in when I am.
Tyler, over here. There's some people who have kind of created a mini rivalry between you and Stanford, Zach Ertz, since he was going to be drafted first. Does that mean anything to you, or is it something that, you know, hey, I want to be the first tight end drafted, or as long as you're in the first round, you don't mind, or have you, you know, what are your feelings on that?
No, I want to be the first tight end taken. I think it's kind of silly that it's become a rivalry. I saw him at the combine. You know, he was a cool dude. You know, we hung out the whole time, and you know, I think I'm doing everything I can to be the first tight end taken, and that's what I hope to be.
I'm just curious what kind of feedback you got in some of those interviews from last year, basically playing wide receiver, and how much that might have helped your stock coming into this process.
Yeah, I mean, I think teams like my versatility this year. I mean, I explained to them that I knew our entire offense. You could put me in any position on the field, and I'd know what to do. So that gives some offenses a little bit of flexibility to move me around and create some mismatches, or, you know, just things that a defensive coordinator has to be worried about. You know, I think I have that ability to help whatever team I'm on.